This recording will talk about making a quality artist statement or how to go about writing an artist statement for art online. We are going to discuss some of the things that go into creating an effective artist statement and how to go about adding your images to your work as you go through. So the first thing you'll want to do is you can start by copying and pasting the questions into a Google document. So I'm going to start by highlighting these questions, copying, Control-C, and then going over to a Google document and pasting those questions in. So this kind of gives me a basic layout. Some things you want to know about, oopsies, that was misspelled, I'll fix that. Some things you want to know about your artist statement is that it's a statement that is meant to explain the choices that you've made and the artwork that you've created to someone who wasn't with you as you were creating it. Obviously, I haven't been there seeing what you've done as you've done it, talking with you about the choices you're making. So the purpose of this statement is to kind of give me and anyone else who views your image some insight into why you've decided to make the connections you've done, why you've decided to create this in such a way. So these sentences will help you be able to do that effectively. So the first one is this artwork is about. The parentheses are not part of the sentence, but it just kind of gives you what the goal is of the sentence. So I want to know what the message of the artwork is. So this artwork is about, and in our case this week, we're probably talking about, is about the connections of Mesoamerican artwork to whatever piece we kind of hooked into, okay? So this artwork is about, and then you tell me what it's about. The steps I took to create this work were, and you can tell me, first I sketched it, then I drew it, then I colored it. Okay, great. I was inspired by, and this is where if you were inspired by a specific artist or artwork, you would tell me that. Or if you were inspired by a particular theme in our Mesoamerican artwork, or whatever our unit is, this is where you talk about that. The why did you make this artwork this way? What was influencing you? And obviously what should have been influencing you this time was our unit of study that we've been kind of working on. So your why should have to do with the connections you made to that content. What have you learned in this process? Or what was really challenging about your artwork? And then I want you to talk about some of your elements and your principles. So line, shape, color, texture, space, or value. Which one did you use a lot of, and how did you use it? So not just saying I use line, but like I use line, thick and thin lines to create my image because I thought it was really valuable. And I saw that in a lot of Mexican artwork, line, heavy, strong line, was something that was heavily used. So I decided to incorporate that element of style in their artwork. So see how I kind of included some of my vocabulary in there? One of our words was style. One of them was, one of them is the word line. Okay. And then the other one is, so they explain the principles you've used: balance, rhythm, emphasis, contrast, unity, movement, proportion, and pattern. So these words we'll study more into next week, but you can, some of these we should kind of know, especially with balance. That was the one that we kind of learned this unit, so make sure that's the one you're kind of talking about. How did you incorporate balance into your artwork? Was it symmetrical? Was it asymmetric? Or maybe you did radial balance. There's a bunch of different types, so what did you include and why and how? So then after you've written your 8 sentences, so notice there's only 6 prompts, you're going to have to write more than one sentence for at least 2 of these, so you can kind of decide which, or maybe you have other things you need to say. So you've got 2 sentences to kind of play with. Your expectation is that it's at least an 8-sentence long piece of writing. Then you'll need to include the images in this document before you save it. So I'm going to show you really quick how do you do that. So you go insert, okay, image. And then if you have them on a Google Drive, you can do that. Or if you have them on your computer, you can do that. I have a Google phone, so it happens to already be in my photos. So I can go right here and I can choose my images, and then I can choose insert. So if this had been my project, I would maybe include my pre-sketching, but hopefully you included some like an in progress image after you've done your pre-sketching. Then you want to choose, rather than inline, you want to choose wrap text. This will let you move an image around the page and will let it not disrupt your text. You can also stretch and shrink your images so they fit. And you can arrange these in such a way that you can see the most out of your picture, but not necessarily have to see everything. But we should have at least 2 pictures, one and in progress, not finished drawing, or not finished artwork, and then the finished artwork, whatever that looks like. This is not a great example of a finished artwork because I've got a glare on the picture and I'm at a funny angle. So you know, try to fix some of those things as you're taking your photograph. Be aware of them. It does influence how your overall artwork looks. But this is what you would then download. So you go to File, Download As, and then you would choose either a Word document or a PDF. Either one is fine. For those of you that are not as comfortable doing writing, there is another option for you. You can simply upload the 2 images to the assignment location, which is to say the 1.08. You can choose to submit 2 assignments to there, those 2 images, and then you can use the submission tool to make a voice recording of yourself answering these questions. So you're welcome to do that if that's something that is easier for you, if you would rather just talk about your artwork, as long as you talk about, you know, what you did and why you did it and what you've learned, and then talk about the elements and principles that now exist in your final finished artwork. That will be sufficient. I'm happy to listen to a recording of you talking about your art if that's something that is better for you. So I look forward to seeing your images this week. I hope that this video helps you kind of understand what to do and what to do, where to go forward.